Before we begin, we want to acknowledge that some stories and discussions in this episode of Radiant Resilience may touch on sensitive and potentially triggering topics. These may include themes of medical trauma and misdiagnosis, gynecological details, surgery, chronic pain, disability, suicidal ideation, medical gaslighting and dismissal, discussion of antibiotics, vaccines, mold sensitivity, partner's serious illness, infertility mentions, and emotional triggers. Our goal is to share real life experiences in a respectful and empathetic manner, offering insights into the complexities of the human spirit and the journey towards resilience. However, we understand that some content might be difficult for listeners. We encourage you to prioritize your well-being and discretion when deciding to listen. Please remember this podcast is not a substitute for professional advice or support. If you find yourself needing assistance, we urge you to seek help from qualified professionals or trusted support systems. Your mental and emotional health is important to us. Thank you for your courage and for joining us in a space of understanding and compassion. Welcome back, everyone, to Radiant Resilience. I am very excited for this conversation today. I have Deborah Weed with me. She is the force behind the Quills Up movement and Paisley the Musical, a bold rallying cry for women to reclaim their power, creativity, and self-worth. With decades of experience in branding, entertainment, and personal reinvention, Deborah's work helps people rise from rejection, betrayal, and burnout. Her message, take your quills back and rewrite your story. I love this little bio. It's so short and sweet, but it is so powerful. Welcome, Deborah. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here. I think I'm really excited to hear more about your story and how you got into these things that you're doing now, and then what all these things are that you're doing now. We just did a little bit of chatting before we hit record, so a lot of this is going to be new to me as well. So I'm going to let you start wherever you feel like starting with your own personal journey. I know it seems like you've been through a lot. Yeah, whatever you feel like sharing, go for it.
Okay, you got it. Let's start at the very beginning. And at the very beginning, when I was a little girl, oh my gosh, I was so sensitive
Mm.
and an empath. I
Mm.
was so sweet. But when people said to me, "You're so sensitive," and I heard that over and over again, there was another part of me that said, "I'll show you.
Oh.
You think I'm sensitive? You think that I can't take over the world? Yes, I can." So you have a lot of us start out as an artist or what we naturally are, what our soul is meant to
Mhm.
be. But sometimes, because of what we hear or the impressions that are being told to us, we decide to go counter to everything that we are to a certain degree.
Yeah.
So when I graduated and got into business, I was so proud to become the director of development for Citibank,
Oh
Tanya.
yeah.
19 branches.
Okay.
And I also worked on a $26 million pavilion in Daejeon, Korea with a Universal and Disney consultants.
Fun.
I know. But boy, did I have something to prove. I
Mm.
really had something to prove to move me away from the sensitivity. And as life happens to so many of us, I got the health two by four and a big one.
Okay.
What happened was I'm at what I think is the top of my game, and then all of a sudden this mystery illness comes in. What I was experiencing or what I was feeling is as if I was giving birth every single day. The pain was absolutely horrific.
Oh my goodness.
And I went to doctor, and the first doctor says, "Oh my gosh, you've got MS." He was one of the top MS specialists. I'm like, "Okay,
Okay.
how can you help me?"
Yeah.
And I can't. So when you have, because he said his prognosis was it's very high up in your brainstem, and there's no way that we can actually find it, treat it, and they won't know until you die. This is what he explains to me. So thank you
What?
very much. Thank you very much. That gives me a lot of hope. So I go to the next doctor. The next doctor says Lou Gehrig's. And then I'm like, okay, that's not helping me. Can you help me? No. Then I go to the next doctor. The next doctor says it's all in your head. In the meantime, I am in bed. I know that I don't know if they can see your expression, Tony.
Anybody watching YouTube can see my expression.
I know because it's like precious. I'm like, oh my God, she's got me. She's got me already. Anyways, I'm in bed, and this goes on for 3 long years. And this is the hardest part. I really want to speak to everybody who's listening and just send as much love as I can because I think that what happened to me happens to so many. When you don't have doctors who are in sync with you, then your family and friends start to wonder too. And
Oh,
everything
interesting.
crumbles in
Okay.
the most horrific way because you have gone to the doctors who you've made into gods.
Mm.
They don't give you the answer. At least for me, I'm feeling awfully worthless. My family and friends who I are kind and good, but all of a sudden aren't there and become just like the most pain. The physical pain is horrific. The emotional pain was worse.
Mm.
So now I pretty much have nobody.
And you said you were bedridden for two,
For
3 years?
3 years. 3 long years. Now, one thing or a couple things that I have to throw in there is that, and trigger warning to anybody listening.
I will do a trigger warning before
Okay,
this.
okay. I had a lot of bleeding going on. And when I went to the gynecologist, they said that it was perimenopause.
How old
And
were you at this point?
I was probably in my late 30s.
That's at least a
So
little early,
yeah,
but
a
I
little
guess.
early, but they didn't understand the extent of
Mm.
the bleeding, and it wasn't something I felt comfortable talking about. So, anyways, the story goes on. I'm in bed, desperate, feeling worthless, totally
Mm.
worthless. No friends and family to really support me.
Because did they just think it was all in your head then?
Yes, because
Oh,
I had a lawyer husband. I have a lawyer husband. I
okay.
have a lawyer husband who's tremendously pragmatic. And if nobody's agreeing,
Mm.
then what is up with this story? I would beg him, and he took me to sit in parking lots of hospitals just in case I died.
Oh my
That's how
gosh.
bad I felt and how weak I
Mm.
felt. But my words meant nothing. My
Mm.
voice meant nothing. And while I was in bed, I decided, you know what? I heard about a penny, and it was a penny that saved my life.
Okay, yes, I was reading that in the notes that you had sent me, and I'm like, what is the $1 million penny story? Please tell me that. I was hoping we would get to that.
Yes, yes, we were there. So
Okay.
I heard about this penny, a 1943 pure copper penny that could be worth $1 million.
Okay.
And I'm thinking, gosh, if a penny that's worth in perception nothing
Nothing. Yeah.
is worth $1 million, then what am I worth? And even
Oh.
more, I had always done productions ever since I was 16. Musicals for kids, murder mystery week, all kinds of things. And so the creativity was coming in strong because I had nothing else. I had
Mm.
nothing else. And I was thinking, if I get out of this mess, I'm going to focus the rest of my life on self-worth because my self-worth is nil. I'm
Mm.
going to inspire people and I'm going to create my first story right now. And I
Okay.
did. And the first story, which I turned into a musical, was about two pennies that are two 1943 pennies that are at an auction, and they're about to find out how much they're worth and why. And the
Okay.
first penny is Alistair, and Alistair is like perfect, never been touched in a plastic case. And
Mhm.
he knows he's worth $1 million. And
Okay.
then there's Henry. And Henry was like me. Henry's been in the garbage can. Henry's been on the street alone. Henry's been somebody's lucky penny. Henry has been in the washing machine on a wild roller coaster ride. Henry's had a lot of life experiences the way that life goes. And it's what happens in the ending of, what they both discover. Because Alistair, well, with his $1 million, he ends up in a silver box for the rest of his life.
Oh, interesting.
Lucky him. But Henry ends up with this little boy named Tommy. And Tommy says to his grandpa, who gives it to him, "This must be worth $1 million." Grandpa's like, "Why are you saying that, Tommy?" And he says, "Because it was born the same year as you."
Oh.
I know. So I made the musical. We performed in, oh, wait, I have to say what happened before before I get good. So finally, after 3 long years, after losing everybody except for
Mhm.
myself, they discovered that I had a tumor the size of a grapefruit behind my uterus. They didn't find it. I had been hemorrhaging. My iron was between a 3 and a 6, and that had been what had been
How
transpiring.
did they miss that? How?
Because during that time, ultrasounds were only on the top of your stomach. They didn't go internal. This was
Mm.
behind my uterus, and they missed it.
But with all the doctor's appointments,
I
doctors you
know.
saw,
I
nobody wanted to do like a PET scan or a MRI or anything like
No,
that.
no. Every
Wow.
doctor, okay, listen to me. Listen to me very, Tawny, you and listeners, listen to me. If I went to the MS doctor, the MS doctor says I have MS. If
Mhm.
I went to the neurological doctor, said that I had Lou Gehrig's. If I got each doctor with their specialty told me I had what
What
their
they. Mhm.
specialty
But
was,
then also told you they couldn't help you.
and also told me they couldn't help
How
me.
good of specialists are they if they can't even help you or even
Well,
try?
because mine was always, and I've had this 3 times. I've had 3 things that have occurred to me that
Okay.
are in the mystery realm.
Okay.
And I think it's my karma or it's my life mission to get out there and warn other people now
Yeah.
because it's cemented in me that
Yeah.
number one importance. And that's why everything I do now is all about self-worth and all about reclaiming power and all about speaking up and owning that. Because I learned that the more that I spoke up to advocate for myself, where I wasn't heard, please hear me, where I wasn't heard, it destroyed my sense of self.
Sure, because then their reactions are making you question yourself.
Yes, so much so that during that period of time, I was totally suicidal because the
Mm.
physical pain was too much. The mental,
Yeah.
emotional stuff was way over my head. And it hurts me so much. There's people right now with long COVID. There's
Yeah.
women right now that are going to go through what I've gone through, that might be going through what I'm going through. And they're just trying to hold on. And they're just feeling so unseen, lost, and unheard.
And
And
my experience with the medical industry is like, I think it's come so far scientifically and everything like that. And I think it has, but I think everyone that has a direct interaction with it is always, but wait, what? Like, how do we not have the technology to know what's wrong with me, to diagnose it? And I feel like the unknown is so scary too. To have nobody give you an answer for why you're feeling the way you're feeling. I feel for you. I'm so sorry you went through that. Like,
thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that. That means a lot because I think that, and that's why I can speak up for so many now.
yeah.
Because everything that's always happened to me has been in the mystery kind of realm three
Mhm.
times. I got to get out there because there's somebody that's in crisis right this second who may take their life because
Yeah.
it feels so unheard
Mhm.
and unseen. And I'm here to say that in there may be a reason that you don't understand. And I had heard one time, and I love this, that it's like a slingshot. The farther the slingshot goes back, the farther that is going to fly.
Oh
So
man.
that's the first part of my
So you
story.
had a tumor behind your uterus. Were they able to
Yes, I
remove
had
it
the
and stuff?
hysterectomy, came
Okay.
back to life, And I became the founder of the Self-Worth Initiative. And
Okay.
we did the story of the penny. That was the first one. I did a book and a musical. We did it in New York and Florida. It inspired thousands of people to know their worth, especially kids, because how do you explain to a child what they're worth? But through the eyes of a penny and talkbacks, it
Yeah.
was absolutely positively brilliant until the next incarnation happened.
Okay. Tell me number two.
So number two, I go in to check for an MRA, and an MRA is where they can see your brain and because things
Mhm.
that happen, of course, with the
Yeah.
other stuff. And so I go in to have that done, and they put what they call gadolinium. Gadolinium is a heavy metal. It's a contrast where they can see things, but it would be like mainlining mercury into your system.
Oh
So
boy.
when they do this, what's supposed to happen is they're supposed to put it in your vein and then you pee it out through
Okay.
your. They missed my vein. They put it in my arm. My arm blew up like
Oh
this.
my gosh.
I leave the hospital, not they give you a sheet that says, if you have blah, 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 but I didn't understand. I don't think people understand that
Mm.
it's a heavy, toxic metal. And I leave the hospital not knowing this, and once again, I'm down for the count. There's
Ugh.
a lot of people who have had gadolinium poisoning, one of them being Chuck Norris's wife,
Okay.
and they don't know like they leave and they understand they have the poisoning, but it's not something they can get out of you.
Oh,
It's like there, and
okay.
some people are they're down for the count. So I was down for the count second time.
Okay.
But this time I go to an acupuncturist, putting needles in me and doing all that stuff. And he says, Deborah, I'm not, no matter what I do, I'm not going to be able to help you. What you need to do is you need to take improv.
Okay.
I'm like, are you kidding me? He said, look, I'm looking at you, knowing your background, knowing your creativity, and to get your life force going again, you need to do
Oh.
something like this. I'm like, okay, I can't. Oh, by the way, my husband, after this whole thing, has become my best advocate, my best. Now he believes he's a lawyer, he's pragmatic. He sees I was telling the truth that whole
Well,
time.
what would have happened if they never, you probably wouldn't have made it through
I wouldn't
if
have
they
made it.
didn't find that tumor.
I wouldn't have.
But for those listening out there who maybe don't have something quite that extreme, but and they still can't find anything, I can't even imagine if you just continued on like that. So at least you had that final, okay, see, I'm not lying
And he told me
moment.
that my iron was a 3 to a 6. Your iron's supposed to be a 15. When the doctor found it, he said, you should have been dead. I don't even know how you got here. That's what the conclusions always are, but it's always the thing in between.
Yeah.
So I get this. So I've got my husband, the gadolinium, and everything else. I've got my company, the Self Worth Initiative. And here's where Paisley comes in.
Okay.
So I realized how much I gave away my power. I realized how much I wanted to do good. Like I'd sit in bed all the time and I'd be like, God, all I want to do is good in the world. How could you put me on the sidelines? I don't understand. I
Mhm.
need to reclaim my power.
Mhm.
Help me. And so, boop, drops in porcupine. It's like,
Porcupine. Okay. Love that.
so with the porcupine, porcupines must use their quills to protect themselves, right? So I came up with a storyline for kids again to believe in themselves of a porcupine who gives away her power by because she dreams of being an animal fashion designer.
Ooh.
But in the animal fashion world, porcupines must use their quills to pin up the couture over the top designs of Zavana. And Zavana is like a Cruella de Vil type character who's she's got that whole thing. And Paisley is always giving away her quills willingly to help all the other animals redo their couture outfits. That Zavana's only thinking about the outside, not the inside.
Mm.
Like for Ikru, an elephant who's a plus size model with a plus size heart, I need you to shrink. I need you to conform. I need you to eat celery. I
Ah.
need you to, but she's an elephant. And what does Ivana care about that? She's only caring about how her images or her couture looks. And Paisley's just running around trying to make everybody feel good. And she gives away all of her, the storyline, she gives all of the quills away except for one.
Oh,
And then it's what happens with the one that makes
okay.
the difference, where she learns to take her power back.
Okay.
And so I create this story and I illustrate this story after the improv did bring me back, by the way. I laughed
Okay.
myself right back into life
Amazing.
and worked on this story. And oh my gosh, the little girls. And I illustrated it because, but I always wanted to do a big musical. I always wanted to, but I illustrated it and the kids loved it. And their mothers said, this story isn't for our girls or boys. This is for us.
Oh, okay. So you
We
reached an
need,
even wider group.
yes,
Yeah.
we need to know this. This is
Mm,
just as powerful for us because
yeah.
we give our quills away
Yeah.
every day,
Yeah.
all the time. Thank you, Deborah, for doing this. So that all happened until we get to the third
Because
time.
everything happens in threes.
Please, God, please, not a fourth, but maybe after a fourth, who knows? But anyway,
Yeah.
third time around comes COVID.
Okay.
Everything's going good. I've got the musicals, I got the book, the self-worth initiative is reaching people. I'm so proud, so happy. And then during COVID, and I must warn every woman listening, please, everybody listening, ears up, quills out. I took, a lot of us get UTIs.
Mhm.
And what doctors do is sometimes they give us black box antibiotics.
Okay.
And we don't even know what that is or what that means.
Yeah, I've never heard of
Believe
that.
me, I know most people have not. And so I was given an antibiotic, but not told it was a black box antibiotic.
So what is a
Box,
black box?
black box means danger, danger, danger.
Okay. Okay.
That you might have lifelong
Mm,
implications of whatever you took,
okay.
but without being told.
That's bad.
That's bad. So you've got somebody who's got selenium in them, was fighting this thing. My body's not like a normal body to begin with.
Is that something you're going to have to fight the rest of your life then?
Yes, I'm
Okay.
always, it's like I put on the shine, but I have chronic pain every day. There's so much going on that
Okay.
may never go away. But just like the acupuncturist taught me with laughter and improv, I'm thinking that joy and working towards what my soul really wants to do is
Mm,
the thing that keeps me going.
yeah.
It's the thing that keeps despair there or the chronic pain there, but also possibilities and other things that keep me off this piece.
Okay.
With me, they gave me nitrofurantoin. A lot of times they give people Cipro. Cipro is like normal. It's like
Oh,
Cipro. It's a black box antibiotic.
which one?
Cipro.
Okay. Interesting.
And what happens to a lot of people, there's millions of people, they get what they call floxed
Okay.
because neurologically it changes the whole neurological structure of your body. And some people go into chronic pain. It affects the muscles, it affects everything. If you look up floxed and black box antibiotics and UTIs, it will blow your mind. There's so many women, I bet you out there, that have health issues and they're like, I don't know what's wrong. I'm in chronic pain. Nobody's believing me. They have to check to see if they took one of these antibiotics.
Mm.
So during COVID, I took a black box antibiotic. My place got full of mold, and I took the vaccine. And those three things took me down for the third time.
Oh man.
And this time I was like over it. It's like
Yeah.
I was like, okay, one, two, but this is the third punch. I couldn't sleep for one of the side effects is I couldn't sleep but an hour for 3 months. And I once
For
again was
an hour in 3 months, not just an hour per night in those
up
three?
an hour per night.
Okay, good. It's like,
An
oh my
hour
God,
per night,
that's
an
terrible.
hour to 2 nights per night. And I just had it hanging on for dear life. And this is
Sleep is so
where,
important. So,
yes, oh my God, it took me down. But this is where friends, I was rallied by some great friends that
mm,
just really came through for me and they held me up.
Oh,
because
good.
some of the ramifications with my family never changed. Even when they knew
Really?
what had happened, it's almost like they'd have to admit. It's
Mm.
like a real catch-22. But my friends, oh my God, they just rallied. So this incarnation, the third one, it was like, okay, Deborah, you have been down for the count so many times. Every time creativity has been your lifesaver. What do you really want to do? And it's, I love Wicked.
Mm.
I love Wicked. Can I take this story that was always meant to be a musical and go for our Broadway production now, please?
Oh.
And my soul and my heart said, yes, do it. You don't have the money, you don't have the connections, but you got the heart and you got the story and you got the passion.
Yeah.
Make a soundtrack of your life. Make it so powerful that when people hear it, it will be something that they can listen to and feel emboldened. Give
Yeah.
them a hand to hold through your music and your story, and let's see how far you can get. So, as soon as I could get my footing, I have been now creating the musical Paisley the Musical from Paisley the book. With the book, the children's book is called Paisley's Last Quill.
Okay.
So that is the template for the full-scale musical, and that's where you find me.
Oh, so that's what where are you at? And I know nothing about that process, but do you still have a lot of work to do to get it to
Yes.
Broadway? Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
tons. To get to Broadway, it's a 15 million, $40 million project.
Oh gosh. What do you have
Yes.
to do to get to that?
Usually producers, usually you go to a producer, usually you go to
Mhm.
a producer, you do it the traditional way. You
Mhm.
get investors and then they take
Mm.
it to the next step. I'm doing it my way. Then
Okay.
after you almost die 3 times, it's what the heck? Is this scary? No.
Yeah.
This is easy compared to that.
Yeah.
So here's my way. I am I've been working on the music and I'm creating an album, a conceptual album with the first 5 songs that I want to share with the world. And I'm getting that out first.
Okay.
I'm really believing with all my heart, it's so compelling that I won't need to say a thing. And
Mm.
people will listen to it and they'll say, I want this. I
Yeah.
want to see this. If I can get that kind of thing going in the world,
Yeah.
then I think that everything is just going to open up.
Mm.
Of course, I'm working on the book or this what they call the book, but it's the actual script
Yep.
and fine tuning that. I'm working on all the songs. I'm working on as you can see here in the background, what the costumes will look like, what it will feel like,
It
what
looks amazing. I love your background.
Thank you. I have it all conceived of exactly what's going to happen. And I'm hoping that by sharing the message that producers and investors and creative people will come to me.
Yes.
They'll go on my website, they'll see the vision and they'll say, I have to be part of this. I'm a
Mm.
singer. This is a I like if there's the next Idina Menzel that's hearing us right now,
Yes.
come forward, go on the website. I have a place where they can put their name in, and maybe that's the person I'm looking for. It could be
Yeah.
a producer, it could be an investor, it could be just somebody who's, I love musicals and I want to know when that 5 song thing drops, I want to be there.
Heck
So
yeah.
that's where I'm trying to get the train moving faster than waiting for somebody to help. Because that's
Mhm.
the one thing I've learned in life from all of the experiences I've had. Don't wait for anybody.
Mm.
Speak up, use your voice. And that's where Quills Up comes in. That's the Quills
Yeah.
Up movement. It's essentially saying to anybody and everybody, put your quills up. And what that means is take your power back, believe in yourself, and reclaim your voice.
What advice do you have for people trying to do that are maybe like in the depths of despair right now listening and then they're like, Deborah, I don't know how to do that. That sounds great, but how do I do
And
that?
that is the perfect question. First of all, let me say that whoever that person might be that might be listening, I even tear up immediately. I care.
Yeah.
And I want you here in this world, no
Mm.
matter how bad it gets. I've been there. I have been. There's been a couple of times in my life. I'm out of here. I know what
Yeah.
that feels like. So let me just first say, hang in there. I care. Secondly, I looked up healing, and healing means whole.
Oh, okay.
So, whole to me means every part of you counts. So, if you're angry, it counts. If you're
Mm,
hurt, it counts. I think so many times, especially people who want to be spiritual, pull ourselves into pieces and we say, I want to be, oh, I'm speaking for myself. I want to be happy. I want to
mm,
be this, but I feel rage. So
mm.
I need to get rid of the rage. So I need to kill myself to get rid of the rage. That's not the truth.
Yeah.
We need to get back to whole. So that's step number one. Step number one is you might not love yourself yet. I'm getting there. I'm getting there
Mm,
with a lot of blessings that are taking
yeah.
place. But if you're not there yet, just hold on. And then the next thing I'm going to say, it seems so counterintuitive. And this is true for me. And whatever's true for anybody, please take that.
Yeah.
This is true for me. And that is to feel things fully.
Mm,
Instead of pushing them down, or pushing them away or pretending that's not part of you, feel it fully
hmm.
and just trust that when you do that, some of it's going to dissipate and it's going to clear up.
I think for me, sometimes I find myself shaming myself for feeling those feelings too. Because so I've been through infertility, and one of the things that we talk about a lot is being triggered and upset by pregnancy announcements and things like that. But then also, like, we're supposed to be happy for those people. And it's not that we're not, but we are sad for ourselves.
Yes.
But I have found for myself, like, it's so much easier for me to be like, I shouldn't feel this way. I am being an asshole, and how dare I feel this way because I should be happy for my friend, my sister, my whoever that is going through this. And I don't wish my situation on anybody. But I do find that I tend to shame myself real bad, and I don't know how to get out of that piece of it. I'm still working on that. But
Yes. And that was so beautifully said and so vulnerable. And I have felt the same way so many times. And the first thing to know is you're human. We're
Mhm.
human. We have these emotions for a reason, and
Mhm.
you can be both. Look at me. Right now, I am in tremendous despair for reasons that I won't even go into detail right now. And yeah, you know what? I will.
Are you sure?
I have a husband who's fighting for his life at this very minute. And
I'm so
he's my
sorry.
soulmate.
Mm.
And he's not here at this second with me. And it's a tremendous concern. So I am in tremendous despair because of relationship and health, but I'm
Mm.
also in joy. You
Mm.
can have, nobody talks about that you can have many emotions at the same time and they're all valid. So what do we do with that? I can be enraged that doctors weren't there for me and then I went to them for help. And I can be also excited about this musical and it's how it's going to touch people. I
Yeah.
can be enraged and hurt and angry at those people who show up easily with no health issues and just feel like, God, I wish that was me.
Mm.
Why I wrote another book called If Only
Okay.
because of this situation, because my whole mantra had been if only. And I
Mm.
needed to write something that would comfort me. And when people read that book, they cry. They call me up and they
Mm.
go, I'm crying. And I'm like, yay, score.
It worked.
They got it. They got what I was
Was
gonna.
it like a if only this happened or if only that happened? And how often do we all spiral into that when we're going through hard stuff? And yet at the same time, who knows?
This story was for adults. It's a fable for adults, and it's about a snowflake who is up there and she's going to take her leap of faith into the cosmos. And as she's falling, like one of the first things that faith says, it's only when you fall are you lifted.
Okay.
So as she's falling and going through the cosmos, faith literally is going with her.
Hmm.
So she wants to fly like the birds. She
Hmm.
can't. So she's if only, and Faith tells her why.
Okay.
She lands on a tree and the tree has roots, but she has no roots. She asks Faith, and Faith tells her why. So her whole incarnation or experience, Faith is telling her why these things are happening until the end. And the end is what I need to know and hear and hold. And I think that everybody needs to hear. But I won't spoil it because it's the experience
Yes.
of the faith thing that's so
Mhm.
powerful.
Yeah, it's so hard when you're just in the depths of all that stuff. Did you write any of this kind of stuff before
Oh,
your?
yes. I've
Yeah.
always been a creative. Like my mom had entertainment agency.
Okay.
So ever since I was 16, it's like my imagination is my superpower. My imagination is because look at it, Tony. When we have a boulder inside of us, whatever it might be, whether it be infertility, whether it be health issues, it's almost like a boulder is like there and we don't know what to do with it. But creativity comes from the divine, I think. And it just comes through us and it's almost like water. It washes
Mhm.
away things. And if we're in that mode, it's almost like we've got that human boulder and the divine creativity.
Yeah.
And somehow, for me, that's been my life raft.
Yeah. I've heard that a lot though from people that creative outlets have helped them a lot. And there's lots of different like mediums for that, right?
Yes, all mediums.
Yeah.
Creativity is anything, for me, we should redefine it. Creativity is anything that comes from the divine and flows in
Mhm.
us. It could be called inspiration. You could, sorry, I had somebody come over and to help me clean, and she goes, I love cleaning. I'm like, what? You, wait a minute. Wait, did I hear you correctly? You love cleaning? That's creativity. I mean,
Yeah.
for her, that's creative. And I'm like, I've never heard of people that actually love that, but she does.
I know my husband he doesn't love the act of cleaning, but he likes how everything looks when it's
Right.
clean.
But she leaves. She leaves. So
Yeah.
it's like, how lucky is it? How blessed am I to find somebody who actually loves doing it, besides it
Yeah.
looking wonderful after. So I
Yeah.
guess creativity can come in any form, but it can save our lives. And I think
Yeah.
that my dad has said things to me that have really helped me in tremendous ways. And he said this, he was like a Yoda, but he
Okay.
said that disappointment is the quasi emotion that stops us every time. And he said the reason why is because when we're excited or happy, we think we can have a child, we think we can have our health, we think we
Mhm.
can do this great, whatever it might be. And we got endorphins going and adrenaline going and oxytocin going. It's
Yep.
chemicals because we're a chemical factory.
Yep.
And then when we hit the wall, all of those good feel good chemicals leave our body.
And what is it about the bad chemicals that seem to overtake the good chemicals? Like, even just a simple thing like I'm a hairdresser, so like I'll have 3 or 4 clients in a day, and I may have 3 fantastic, my favorite clients, and I have one draining, and then all of a sudden that one draining client is the one I focus on for the day. And my husband will be like, "Did you have anything good happen today?" And I'm like,
This
well,
is
yeah, I had 3 fantastic people that I love and they were so fun and it was great. And then why are we just focusing on this negative experience?
let
But
me
I think that's human nature. We do it a lot.
let me tell you what, that was perfect. That was perfect. Because the good chemicals drain from our body. Listen, everybody really listen, because even in me, it took a little while to understand this. It's like something good draining from you, and you remember the draining part. You remember going from good to not good, and it feels so bad.
Yeah.
This is what he was sharing is if they drain and then you get up and you try again, you're like, okay, I'm going to be positive, and then it hits again. You get that same person come in. Oh, they're coming in and as well. If that happens over and over
Mhm.
again, my dad said that people flatline and never try again.
I feel that very deeply.
They never try again, but they don't know why. That
Mhm.
you would call it either failure or you would call it like, I don't understand why that happened. But if you understand, chemicals drained. That felt really yucky.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, so what do we do with that, Dad? What do we do with that situation if that's what transpires? And he says, this is where fake it until you make it comes in. Because, like, for instance, pretend that you're sitting on a couch and you've got the thermostat on 75 and you're comfortable, but you really want it on 73 because you want it colder. How often are you going to get up from the couch to change that?
Probably not too often for just 2 degrees.
But that's the point. The
Mhm.
point is that we stay on the couch. People can stay on the couch for the rest of their lives and not readjust anything because they've been so hurt. And they would say, like I said, they would say to you, "Oh, I don't want fail. I failed. I don't want
Mhm.
failure." No, your chemicals got depleted. You didn't like the feeling, and you never want to feel that again.
So how do you get off the couch?
That's what I'm saying. You do it anyways. You do it anyways. If
Yeah.
you know that it's a chemical reaction, you can. Your thinking can override what you're feeling at that point.
Yeah.
And the other part is, my dad was so wise. Yeah, there was one time that I came home and I was despondent and I was trying to do all the positive thinking. I'd go in front of the mirror and I'd be like, Deborah, you're beautiful. You're wonderful. Oh my God, you're amazing. And then I'd look in the mirror and I'd see myself. I looked disheveled. I looked
Mm.
sad. I looked like not anything I was saying. And then I'd say, you liar.
Oh,
How could you say that? So I tell my dad, this is what why isn't positive thinking working for me, Dad?
yeah.
And he's because what I want you to do is I want you to think positive for a week. And then next week, I want you to go and get a dress, a beautiful dress. And I want you to get your hair done.
Yeah.
I want you to get some makeup. And you tell me at the end what worked for you.
Mm.
So I try the positive thinking, crash. Try the positive action,
Mm.
and it changes everything.
Yeah. Wow. That is definitely better.
My hand went
Positive
up, and then
action. I do think I have struggled a little bit with toxic positivity and trying to navigate that because there's a lot in the energetic healing world that
yes,
talks about be positive. And while I understand that works, it's also sometimes we just want to feel the feels and feel crappy.
you
And
have to feel the feels.
yeah.
Okay, this is my opinion.
Mhm.
There's many people, but if you resonate with anything that I'm saying, then I implore you to feel the feelings. Because when you don't, you separate your going back to healing as whole, you separate yourself and you want to destroy the part of you that's not that you deem as negative. And there's nothing negative unless it gets into a loop because you never allowed it to settle
Mhm.
and go through you to begin with.
Yeah.
Then I think one of the biggest addictions we have
Mm.
is trying to solve problems. So we're sitting there trying to solve, trying to solve, trying to obsess, trying to solve. But we think anybody you're talking to say, but I'm just trying to solve the problem. Because
Mhm.
if I solve the problem, then I can have my life. If I solve the problem, then I can have the house. If I solve the problem, then I
Yeah.
can have my health. If I solve on and on. And so this is how we're trained.
Yeah.
And yet it can be so destructive to our
Mm.
lives because guess what? If you're focusing on solving the problem all the time, what are you focusing on?
Is the negative or
Is
the problem? Right. Yeah.
and yet then you would say, then how do you get out of a problem if you're not solving the problem? It becomes very convoluted.
Yeah.
I've learned so much about that. Okay, for me, I'm no longer trying to solve my health problem. I'm working on my musical. Because I found that the more that I did it, the more that I went to doctors who couldn't help me, the more that I went to doctors who couldn't help me, the more that I felt despondent, the more that I felt despondent, the worse the physical pain happened, the worse that the physical happened. We could have a narrative that would last me about a year of
Yeah.
everything that transpired. So the solution, go where you feel heard. Go where you feel safe. Go where your soul calls. That will heal you.
I love that advice. That's really good. So tell me again about the Quills Up. Is that something that you work with people on, or are you just tell me about Quills Up again?
Yes. My vision is one day everybody will know Quills Up. It's kind
Yeah.
of like the Me Too movement.
Yeah.
It was just a hashtag, but then
Mhm.
it's spiraled into so much more. I have a focus. I wish that I could get to every women's group, and maybe I will, to
Mhm.
talk to them about Quills Up so that they will put it up.
Mhm.
But for now, it's a hashtag Quills Up along with the musical because I'm focusing on the creative experience.
Okay.
One day I'm hoping that it meshes into something where I bring people who can help us reclaim their power in so many ways. I see it as a global movement,
Yeah.
but right now it's integrated in what I'm doing with Paisley the Musical.
Okay. Okay.
But
Well,
if what you're asking is, do I take on clients one on one to help them reclaim their power? That's no, I'm actually looking to inspire millions
yes.
through the creativity
Okay.
so that let my music be accompanying you today. That
Yes.
could change.
Yes. Who knows
When the
what the universe
musical
will do?
happens, then you know that I'm going to be the first one there to inspire and take somebody's hand and say, be with me.
Hmm. I love that. Tell me about reshaping rejection.
You can tell from my story, I have had an abundance of rejection. And for me, I have turned rejection into reinvention.
Okay.
Really try to try it on, like dress, and hold on to it. If rejection comes in and we are triggered, it's usually because we believe it. Is that correct? Would you agree
Mm.
with that?
Yeah.
Okay. That's why it hurts so bad. If I
Yeah.
rejected you and said, Tani, I cannot stand those half moons that you have there. And you're like, I love my half moons.
Yeah.
That means nothing to me. But if you secretly believe, oh my gosh, she saw them. She
Mm.
saw them. I didn't know. Maybe she'll think blah, 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 whatever it
Yeah.
be. Then it's going to take you down because it's already in you. Rejection is just rejection we don't we can't give away our power unless we want to. Nobody
Mhm.
can take it from us. Absolutely, positively nobody. So every time I'm rejected now, it's like, how am I going to reinvent myself?
Okay.
And how I'm going to reinvent myself is I am going to only go where I am heard, loved, supported.
Yeah.
I'm going to use my creativity and I'm going to go in that direction rather than trying to solve the rejection problem. Because it's in me. Yes, I need to deal with it. Yes, I need to know what the triggers are. Yes, I need to know how to heal. But I don't need to put a lot of energy into solving that problem.
Back to solving the problem.
Back to solving the problem. If it's in me, yes, yeah, then there's work I need to do,
Yeah.
definitely. And then with a counselor or a loving friend or a family member, you can work that through.
Yeah. Rejection is hard.
Oof, it hurts.
Yeah, I was dealing with it. I moved my business to a different city earlier this year, and it wasn't that far away, but there were a lot of people that just didn't want to make the drive. And so I heard it over and over, and I tried so hard to be like, okay, Tawny, it's not personal. If you were staying in the other town, they would keep coming to you, everything would be fine. But then I had more people decide to make the drive than I thought. But it was really hard to hear that it was rejection after rejection, and it does pull you down or I allowed it to pull me down.
You gave away your quills, just
Yeah.
like Paisley. You want
Yeah.
because you're thinking, gosh, I care about that. I know that person.
Yeah.
Relationship.
Yep.
Of course it would hurt because you just want them to look beautiful. I've been making you beautiful for so long. Come on.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
care. So of course that hurts us tremendously.
Yeah.
Rejection's not, I don't know the solution to rejection not hurting,
Yeah.
especially if it's already in us. But
Yeah.
I do know that reinvention could be the answer. And what I mean, all right, so let's take that situation.
Yeah.
The rejection coming
Mhm.
really hurts, even though you understand it. You
Yeah.
don't understand it, but it doesn't matter. It
Yeah.
hurts. So the chemicals are being depleted. They're
Mm.
hurting. All the adrenaline and everything, all the excitement is hurting. So, how can reinvention help you? You can say, now that I'm in this new place, what wonderful people are going to come through the door.
Yes.
Now that I am in this new place, how can I reinvent myself so that I am not attached to any of these people's opinions,
Mm.
but I can shine brighter? What new technique that do I have that's so cool that people are going to just be coming in going, oh my God, when you work with Tawny, man, you walk out of there and you just know you're just like as beautiful as you can be, or she does this special thing with your hair because we know our hair is our power. There's
Yes,
our
for women especially.
power,
Yes.
that you're going to talk about Quills Up. You're going to give us the best ability that when we go into the world, we look as beautiful as we can be. So it's turning that rejection into reinvention any way we can. I've taken the rejection of people not understanding my physical thing to this day. Like
Yeah.
when I try to explain stuff, their eyes blur over. I can see it. I don't understand. If you told me a word I understood or disease I understood, fine. But yours is all strange. Instead of that rejection, oh God, I like stab right through the heart. But my reinvention is okay. Thank you for showing me where I can no longer put my energy because I'm putting it in the musical. And every time I listen to one of the songs that's being created,
Mm.
I'm like, wow, thank you for that.
Yes.
Never be doing this.
Yeah. I love that. So finding even just the little joys every time and redirecting your focus is what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of people say reframe, and that's valid. That's good. That works. But when you're in the pits of an emotion,
Yeah.
somebody's saying the word reframe. It's like this. There's an ugly painting up there, really ugly, and I'm saying if you just reframe it, you can put the frame on, but it's still the ugly picture.
Yes.
So that's great. And
Mhm.
everybody talks about it. But you remember, we talk, or what my dad told me is those chemicals, they're pretty powerful things. They're
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
And you can't stop those chemicals. You can't outthink yourself from chemicals. It
Yeah.
won't work. You have
No.
to do something, take action. There's
It's
got to
so
be
hard.
something revert. It is so hard. It is so
When
hard.
you start having those physical reactions to rejection,
Yeah.
to all those negative things that are happening to you, like I feel those so deeply, and I don't know how. Sure, I can come out of them a little bit quicker than I used to, but it still doesn't prevent the intensity of the feeling in the moment.
And this is where I think personally that I had it so wrong. I tried to do the positive thing and make those feelings go away. Pretend they
Mhm.
weren't there, submerge them, hide them in my
Mhm.
body, do anything I could to get to the happy
Mhm.
because that's my safe place.
Yeah. Because
But
you definitely don't want to sit in those feelings for too long, but yeah.
yeah, but here, and this is what feels so counterintuitive. When I sit in the feelings and feel it fully, that's when it goes away.
That's true. That's
That's
true
the
because you're
only time it
experiencing
goes
it.
away. That's the
Mhm.
only time.
And
It,
releasing it to a point by feeling it,
yeah,
right?
crying,
Mhm.
whatever. I used to think that if I cried enough, I would die. So don't cry. And I'm a crier. But now it's like, whoosh. When I'm sad, it's gonna come forward and it's gonna come fully forward. But it didn't kill me.
Mm.
It actually gave me relief, and that's why it's there. And I also can go back to where the feelings, usually the rejection, the reason we get triggered is because it's triggering something that we've experienced and never really identified or allowed
Mm.
ourselves to feel. Because maybe we were a child and everybody said, oh, kids are seen and not heard, or,
And
they
that was my childhood. Love my parents, so if they listen to this, I'm sorry, but I was told you're the kid
right.
and you don't get a say in what we're watching on TV, what we're having for dinner. You don't sit in my seat on the couch. Yeah, that was my
Yeah,
Genesis.
and it really messes it up. When I was raising my son, or one of them, I had learned something that's so brilliant. So now this is a tip for parents, any
Yes.
parents. If they said that a lot of times, so imagine you have a red Kool-Aid on a table and you have a white carpet.
Ooh.
And here comes your kid, and your kid is going to go ahead and take that red Kool-Aid and maybe spill it on your
Yep.
carpet. So instead of saying, Tommy, don't do that, don't you know, try this instead. The next time that Tommy goes for the red Kool-Aid, say, Mommy will be that red Kool-Aid right there. Mommy will be really upset if that falls because if the red Kool-Aid falls, the carpet becomes red. So what is a better idea?
Mm,
Because if you keep on training a child how to do a better idea,
mm.
then they will start to put into themselves, what is a better idea? What is a
Yeah.
better idea? What is a better idea? Now, I just came up with something for a child with Kool-Aid, and I bet you that triggered you. Because it's
Yeah.
like, it's yeah, but here I am and I can't have kids. That hurts. I can't
Oh,
help it. No, I'm just being honest.
yeah.
Because it's like languaging, normal languaging for humans can bring up more things. But if we know you, we can go, gosh, Tani, I just said that. And I said that for any listener who has a child, but I can imagine that would also hurt you at a very deep level because you want to be able to say that to your
Mm, yeah.
you're ready to say that to your child. So I'm holding you now and giving you a
Mm.
hug
Thank you.
because this is what life looks like. And I get triggered so many times when people talk about this healthy person that's going on this hike or doing this thing. And I'm like, I want to be that. We just all want to be the best that we can be. And sometimes life circumstances put us in scenarios that make us feel helpless and make us feel unworthy. So now I'm going to tell you one of the most important things because I think this will be really important. There's a difference between self-esteem and self-worth.
Ooh, elaborate, please.
Self-esteem is, I was the director of development at Citibank and I did great things. So my self-esteem is high. Oh my gosh, I'm in bed for 3 years and I'm not doing anything special. Self-esteem is horrible. Self-worth, on the other hand, is what we claim for ourselves. It's how much we say we're worth
Okay. Versus what others say we're worth or
or
say.
what we do. Self-esteem
Oh,
is
yeah.
predicated on what we do.
Mhm.
Self-worth is predicated on what we say we're worth. The
Mm,
two are extremely different.
yeah.
So self-worth takes practice, it
Mhm.
takes time, and we get to claim how much we're worth and why.
I love that. You have had so many great nuggets in this. I
Oh,
like
good. Oh,
This is
good.
so
That's my
good.
reason, Tetra.
Yes, I love it. I always ask everybody at the end of this podcast, what parting words do you have for my listeners? But you've given us so much. But if you have more, I would love some more of your wisdom for my listeners.
I think the main thing is know that after our conversation, understand that you're human and
Mm,
that if we can see ourselves as God sees us instead of how people see us, if because that's what I found in the 3 years in bed. That was my connection. That was the thing. And if we can know, just please remember this. Healing means whole.
mm,
It doesn't mean healing, oh, let me get that best part of myself and let me show that. It says healing is whole. There's a reason for that, and we all deserve to be here. And I don't know who's listening, I don't know who you are, but whatever you're going through, I care profoundly.
yes. Oh, Deborah, thank you so much for this conversation. And thank you for coming on and sharing all your hard stuff too. And I'm so sorry for what you're going through right now with your husband. And I hope that works out. But I'm so sorry. That is absolutely devastating. But thank you for feeling comfortable enough and vulnerable enough to share that. Because I think that's another thing to keep in mind is that we are all constantly still living life and going through life, and it's always a work in progress, right?
Not even a question. And sometimes you might see somebody who looks like they've got it all or happy or whatever, but you just don't know.
You don't know. You don't know, and everybody's going through something. And just when you get through the one hard thing as something else, it may not be a health issue or whatever, but like it's something else can always not is always going to knock us down. Unfortunately, that's life. But I love what you're doing in the world. I'm so excited for your musical. I hope that it goes to Broadway, goes all the way. I'm going to follow you on social media and try to follow that journey with you. But thank you so much for this. This has been amazing. You are an amazing soul.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I so appreciate it.
Yes. Yes. And I will also link all the ways to get a hold of you, all your links. I'm assuming your books, are they like Amazon?
Yes,
Where's the best?
the books are for Amazon, and the thing with the musical that will be coming out first is a 5-song conceptual album that should be out in the next couple of months.
Okay. And is that going to be just an album or will that be on like Amazon Music, Apple Music, that kind of stuff? Or
I'm sure it will be everywhere, but the album itself is the first thing. When Hair first came out, the first thing that came out was actually the album.
okay.
So I'm starting with the 5 songs so that people can experience it and feel it for themselves.
I love
And
that.
if
All
they
right.
go on my website, they'll at paisley'sfashionforest.com, they'll be able to stay in the loop.
So they can sign up for an email
Yes,
list or
yes,
something for
yes,
that.
yes,
Okay.
yes, yes.
Everybody go do that. Sign up and get updates for this amazing musical and the music and everything. All right, my dear. I will link all that in the show notes for anyone listening who wants an easy access. And thank you all for listening. We'll see you on the next episode.